Right, okay, look at this quilt. Oh, it's been in the office for a few days now, and I absolutely love it. Look at those icons between. It's the 12 days of Christmas, look. Oh, I think it is gorgeous, right? I think it is just beautiful. It's sort of simple, isn't it? But it's not, because there's a few kind of things you have to watch out for. But I love all that. Look at all those gorgeous drawings. Right, let's go and meet Amanda, because a lot of you won't have met Amanda before. Now, she's very nervous. You've got no need to be nervous. And poor you, have to wear a Christmas jumper on your very first day. So, who are you? Where'd you come from? No, you'd have to do that one. And what do you do? So first of all, you're Amanda.
Amanda Little.
And what do you do here?
I work full-time at Sewing Quarter as technical editor.
Which means?
Which means the guest designers, when they're commissioned to create a new project, they submit their rough draft of their instructions. I look through the instructions, check them, and then we produce
these. But you're a quilter, because you've made this, haven't you?
Yeah. So outside of work, I run a little long arm quilting business.
Oh, I wondered how you'd done all that beautiful quilting there. Oh, see, I didn't know that. We worked in the same office for all these months.
No, I used to quilt for Jane. So I'm Amanda from the shed.
Oh no, you're Amanda in the shed. Have we not known this? No. Have we not known this?
So yes.
Remember when Jane first started, Jane Allcott, right? She said, well, I can't do it. I'll take her to Amanda in the shed. We have a cup of tea and we watch the machine doing it.
Yeah.
Now I thought Amanda in the shed was going to be this kind of like hippie with a long, shoes and a long skirt and things. But you do quilting and everything yourself. Anyway.
Yes. So I love quilting. Really enjoy dressmaking. I've made soft furnishings in the past.
So why haven't we had you on before? I've been too busy doing that. There's so much for you to do. Poor Amanda, when they all went out for a lunch the other day, she had so much to do. She was still there in the corner, beavering away when everyone else had gone out and everything. Because it's very busy what you're doing.
It is. It's really hectic. Great.
Yeah,
but hectic. Yeah.
Fantastic. Right. Okay. So when we ordered this, so this is your design.
It is. Yes.
Completely your design. So you were given the panel and the fabrics, and you were told to go away and create something from it. Yeah. Can I just say I absolutely love it. You couldn't have done a better one as your first one to things. I just think it's good. Difficulty.
A beginner quilt. Really, really simple. Anyone can.
Even though we've got different sized bits.
I think as long as you take your time with your cutting out, label everything up, and anyone can do it.
Because there's not a block as such, is there?
No, it's just literally, we're going to chop up the panel, pop the cream round to sash it.
Yes.
Just random 2¼ inch squares.
Right.
A red sash, and then the larger squares are 4¼ finished.
And then you bound it. So if you buy the red version, all of that's the same. The only thing is the red is here and here.
Yes.
Right? So if you see here, so that sashing and that binding, that's your red. If you buy the green version, this will be green, that bit will be green, but the rest of it will all be identical, won't it? But also, the red one, what, Hannah? Fewer than 20 of the red one left already. Fewer than 20 of the red one. And this is totally random, up to you.
Your choice.
How you put it. Okay, so when this arrives with all the fabric, what's the first thing we do?
Okay, so in the kit, you get 12 fat quarters.
Yes.
And first off, we need to cut them up.
Right.
Strip piecing is going to make it a lot quicker.
Okay.
So what we'll do, if I move that, we're going to, I have sort of squared this off, but you would square your fat quarter off. So we want 3 strips at 2 3/4 inches.
This is all in the instructions.
Shall I?
Do you need to do them in a particular order? Because you're cutting big squares, or not big squares, big strips, little strips, all sorts of strips.
Not really, as long as you do 3 strips at 2 3/4 and 2 strips at 5 inches, you'll have a tiny slither of fabric left.
Oh, that's all. But so it doesn't matter which order you do them in then? Oh, that's okay.
Actually, I'll turn it around this way. I think that's easier to...
So if you've got a Stripology or a June Taylor, you could use that, but you've got to remember they're not all the same.
They're not all the same size, and when we start to cut the cream fabric, we're cutting in 1/8 and 5/8.
Oh, so okay, so you can't use...
Be better with the ruler.
Okay, that's fine. But for these, for the The first strips, we can just use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to, as I say, I've got my straight edge to begin with.
Yeah.
2 3/4 inches.
Oh, yes, yes, it's difficult to get all the different increments on the rulers, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you. And even from the strips that we're going to cut out and piece together, there will still be a few leftovers. There would be enough to perhaps make a cushion to match.
The fabric in the bundles, your main fabrics, you get 1 metre of the ivory and 1 metre, or cream, and 1 metre of either the red or the green. And then you get your panel, you get your 12 fat quarters. I didn't make it clear apparently at the beginning, so I just want to just to say, there you go. So you get 1 metre of the red, 1 metre of the cream, the panel, and then the 12 fat quarters. Okay, right. Can I say now? Should I say now? Right. You just stop there 1 second because I've got to make an announcement. The red one sold out.
3 strips at 2 3/4 inches and 2 strips at 5 inches.
Okay, so these are going to make these.
The smaller squares and the larger squares in the outer
larger
border.
squares there. And then that bit there's left over.
That's spare, yeah.
Right.
Okay, so if we move these.
And you do that with all of your fat quarters. So all 12 fat quarters you do the same thing with.
Yeah. And
so your fat quarters are only, of course, only used in all the squares.
The squares, yeah. So when you've cut out your 3 batches of 2 3/4 inch strips, they need to be pieced together.
Oh, okay.
Just 1/4 inch seam.
So it's all 12.
All 12.
There's all 12 different ones in there. You can choose which order you want to.
You can choose.
But would you have any tips about?
So what I've done, I've tried to use, or tried not to put the same colour next to itself and the same design next to itself.
Oh, so don't put the stars and stars next to each other. Don't put the white and white next to each other. Don't put the red and red next to each other.
But it is your choice.
Yeah.
You can...
What would happen on there if we had, say we put, how many reds are there? So if we put 3 reds together and then put 1, 2, 3 greens together, what would that do to that pattern there?
It would still work. You would sort of get a bit of a colour wash effect or
so they would be together on there?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, they would sit together, Okay. So, standard 1/4 inch seam.
Yes.
You can, I've left these in portions of 6 just because it's easier to manoeuvre on the cutting board.
Right.
But
can I just ask, did you do what Jane does and do 2 together, 2 together,
pairs.
2 together, and then sew the 2 twos?
Yeah, and perhaps press your seams as you go whilst they're still small and manageable.
Right.
Once they become big, they start to stretch and distort.
Okay.
So you can either leave them in batches of 6 or if you've got a large cutting board,
you can put
put them together,
Okay.
So,
but most people won't have the luxury of a huge table like this to work on, so we've just got a normal table, leave them in 2 6s.
Yeah. Okay. So once they're pieced together into strips, again, there's just a lot of cutting and prepping. So just find yourself a straight edge.
You're just squaring it off now?
I'm just going to square it off and start to cut it into smaller strips. So just check on your ruler that everything sort of is lining up. And then just... and then twirl it round. So these ones we're going to cut into 2 3/4 inch strips.
And again, that's all in the instructions?
It's all in the instructions. So these are squares.
Yes. But they won't look square. Oh, no, they will look squares now. They will look squares now, won't they?
Yeah. So you would continue with all...
You cut the whole lot out?
Cut all of them.
Into the 2 and 3/4 inch.
Yeah, 2 3/4 inch squares. It'll just make it quicker when you... get to the other stage.
Perfect.
You would do that with your other...
It's gorgeous already.
Isn't it? Yeah. You would do that with the other set of 6.
Yes.
So that...
You cut everything, all your 2 and 3 quarter-inch ones, you just cut them all.
Cut them all out. These ones are cut in batches of 12.
Right.
Because at some point we are going to want to piece them, the shorter lengths together to get the lengths that we want.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So that's your the 12 fat quarters dealt with.
What do you do with the what do you do? That's we've only used the smaller strips. I mean, what do you do with the 2 big the fat strips?
The 5-inch. So very similar.
Sorry, if I'm jumping ahead, just tell me to shut up. Fine, everyone else does.
Oh.
Okay, that's the same again.
Yeah. So we're going to cut.
Now, did you do these in the same order that you did?
I have, because I've got a little bit of a problem with it.
But you don't. It doesn't have to be in the same order.
No, but I can do coordinated random.
Okay.
And the same again. So you're going to cut 5-inch.
Oh, so your border is done already. Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Fantastic.
Just a case of making them as long as you need them.
Brilliant.
Okay.
So you put all of those to one side.
All of those together. Yeah.
Perfect.
And then we can move on to the panel.
Right.
Actually, could we borrow a panel from the other side?
You're getting demanding within your first 20 minutes.
Just to look at,
actually,
please.
I think I've got one. I've got one in my trolley. You can try this one.
Okay.
You're not going to cut it up, are you?
No.
All right.
But I just wanted to explain.
They're all Makower, these, aren't they?
They are, yeah. They're
Beautiful
really nice.
quality.
Yeah.
I love this panel.
Yeah. So we want to cut all of our motifs out with a 1/4 inch seam allowance.
Oh, okay. So this is different to when we did the Christmas tree with Rebecca Reed this morning. We cut out on the edge of the fabric.
Right, yes.
But on this, we need to cut our seam allowance.
So line up your ruler and you would take your rotary cutter.
Oh, now it's a tight fit, isn't it?
I was thinking there is no play. It is literally, if you don't feel confident, and sometimes the panels can have a bit of a skew to them.
Yes, yeah.
So if you don't feel confident doing that, you can get a pen or a pencil, friction pen.
Yeah.
And just mark yourself.
So you are going to mark my panel.
Sorry, I'll rub it off later.
Huh?
I'll rub it off later. So you would mark it.
Oh, yes, because it really is
a 1/4 inch. There is no... There's perhaps a bit more leeway between those two. But yeah, so each motif needs to be cut out with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So perhaps mark it, and there's nothing wrong with sitting and cutting out with a pair of...
it's whatever you're most comfortable with, isn't it?
But if you're confident with a rotary cutter...
I think in a way a rotary cutter is going to be more precise, isn't it?
Yeah. And if... no, it's the blade. When it starts to skew, this one's not too bad, but say, for instance, if this one's skewing a little bit,
yes,
you sort of cut slightly, reposition your ruler and carry on. So all 12 of the smaller motifs and the large centre one.
So you cut all 12 of those out?
Cut all 12.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest, or I wouldn't recommend, sometimes with yardage, people will snip and rip.
Oh, no.
It's not printed on the grains.
But also, when it's so tight between them, even though the snip and rip normally goes along the grain, if this isn't printed on the grain, then you're going to go off.
You're going to spoil it, yeah.
Okay, perfect. We finished with this now, then?
Yes, thank you.
That one away. I think we need the first aider upstairs for Hannah. She's choking.
Oh, dear. So, what we're going to do now is sash all of these motifs.
Oh, right, now this is where each one's going to be slightly.
That one will be different to the other 12.
Okay.
So these, I just need to check because this is where the measurements start to vary a little bit. So your cream fabric will come as a metre piece.
Yes, yeah.
And you need to cut 6 2 5/8 widths of fabric strips, which will be those.
Right.
And
is it with that width of fabric?
Width of fabric. So did I pick a piece up?
Don't worry if you haven't got to there. But so literally, you've taken.
Oh, yeah, it's there. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Let's put that.
Have you got a favourite motif? You say I like 10 Lords a Leaping.
I don't know really. I
like eight Maids of Milking. They're nice. They're all. The thing is, they're all beautiful drawings. There's not one, is there, that you kind of go, "Ooh, I don't like that one."
And you could, if you didn't want to make a quilt, you could have them as cushions. You could have that, and then perhaps put 2 rows of squares to sort of make a cushion, or have that as a larger cushion.
Oh right.
Lots of
I'm allowed to say
possibilities.
That? Okay. In a minute. In my half-hour thingy, I've got some of the fabrics available by the half metre, and I've got this many panels, a handful of panels, right? I've got fat hands, not big, but anyway, there's a handful of panels that at the half past. So if you want just the panel on its own, be ready at the half. I say half past round up the there. Anyway, so
it's okay. So we're going to cut 6, 2 and 5/8.
Right.
Oops, sorry.
Right. No. So you folded your fabric in half?
Yeah, so fabric is folded in half as it's, sort of been taken off the bolt.
Yeah.
This perhaps could have done with the press.
Yes. Next time, press it.
Yeah.
You can get that girl in the office, Neve, to press it for you, that assistant.
She's all right.
Yeah. She's got a nice red dress on, doesn't she?
It's mine.
Just so you know, Neve's her daughter. And she's doing a placement here.
She's at Chester University.
At Chester?
She is.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm from Chester.
I know, yeah.
Oh, she knows that, yeah.
She's doing English literature, and she's just finished her 2nd year. And as part of that year, she had to do a work placement. So she came here. And I think she must have done an okay job because they've taken her on for some summer work.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's lovely. I thought because she's that's good for a mother, isn't it? Oh, she's done an okay job. I thought thinking that was a really long placement she's doing. Oh.
Yes, she's loving it.
Oh, that's good. What's it got to do with English literature, though? Does she read your writing and how not to do it?
Translate.
She translate. Whereabouts are you from?
Oh, originally from West Bromwich.
Right. Is that a West Brom accent then?
Probably.
Yeah.
And then when we went to middle school, we moved to Great Worley, which is Cannock.
Where's that?
Junction 11 on the M6.
Oh, not very far though.
No. But for the last 22 years,
Don't give away your age now.
We've been in Stone, Staffordshire.
Oh, okay.
It's really pretty, pretty canal town. Not far from Jane, probably.
Oh, okay.
6-7 miles
from Jane. Is it Junction 15?
Junction 14.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You come off for 15 for Jane, don't you?
Yeah.
Is Jane 14 as well?
No, I think Jane probably would get off at 13.
Oh, would she?
You went to Akershall, didn't you, for the
going again
show?
in November. Yeah. Anyway, let's carry on. I'm not doing gossiping. Right.
So.
I just wondered what your accent was. That was all.
Oh, it's.
Because Neve hasn't got it, has she?
No. I can't get rid of it.
Oh, no, I think it's lovely. It's very gentle and soft.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, no, because we're used to Chris, aren't we, from Dudley? And can't understand a word he's saying.
Oh.
Anyway.
So 2 5/8. Sorry.
No, don't apologise. It's me.
2 5/8. And we're going to cut 6 strips across the width of fabric at 2 5/8, and then we'll cut 6 more strips at 2 1/8.
Where do the narrow ones go then?
The thing with the Makower panel is I think it's geared up for a European market, so they work in centimetres, whereas we like to work in inches.
Of course, yes.
So we've just got to bring those up to an inch measurement. So that's why
the border going round, the width is a different.
But you perhaps can't tell from a distance.
No, I can't tell from there. That's why I was thinking. I was looking at thinking, where are the narrow ones?
And then that one is slightly wider.
Oh, yes.
Just to get them all to sort of
all of the strips you have to cut are in there, aren't
yes,
they? There's no worrying about that.
So 6 at 2 5/8.
Yeah, you don't need to do that.
And 6 at 2 1/8.
1/8.
Yeah.
And then there'll be fatter ones, will there, for that
There
one?
will be fatter ones. You'll cut then 1 strip at 3 3/8.
Yeah.
And 1 strip at 3 1/8.
Oh, okay.
And that will sash
the big one in the middle.
The bigger one in the middle,
perfect.
So.
Amanda is lovely. What a beautiful quilt. You look very calm, even if you don't feel it. That's from Deborah in Gloucestershire.
Oh, thanks, Deborah.
Sonia, yippee. So she says, Great Whirly Girl, that's where I'm from. That's our Sonia who messages in every day. Oh. Whirly
Small
girl.
world.
Great whirly girl. Right.
Okay, so from the 2 5/8 and 2 1/8 strip,
Yes.
we're going to sash. Let me get this straight.
That doesn't
No,
look
that's
long
the
enough.
No, they're the tops and bottoms.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Okay.
Not the one to panic you.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna
So
go
what you do is you do your two side ones
Yeah.
first, don't you, which are the right
side ones
length.
first,
Yeah.
and then top and bottom.
Yeah.
You could do it the other way around if you wanted to, but I was always taught
Yeah.
sides, top, bottom. So should we sew that? Is the time enough
Oh,
to
you
sew?
just got loads. We're not even halfway through yet.
Oh, right, okay.
Actually, before we do any sewing, let's go and do the not you. You can just relax for a second. Before we do the sewing, let me go and do an update on the kits and the fabrics on their own, and then I'll come back and do some sewing. Oh yeah. Okay. Very well behaved. Normally they've done something.
sorry,
when I'm
should
like,
I have?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, because we've got 20 minutes. We're all right. So.
So you can just literally pop one on this on top of the other and put it underneath the machine foot. But if you want to be precise, pop a crease in the centre.
So where did you learn to sew then?
I did sewing at school. Really enjoyed it, but stupidly thought that science was more sensible.
Oh, did you do science?
So did sciences, never used them.
Oh, okay.
And always sort of regretted not pursuing the
Well, you
creative
come
side.
round, it's all, where you're meant to be, it comes round to, doesn't it? So what were you doing then before you did your quilting business?
I worked at Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service.
What, like with firemen?
Well, doing the payroll for the
Oh,
firemen.
okay.
Enjoyed sewing through school.
Yeah.
When we got our first house, I made, sort of Austrian blinds, Rowan blinds,
Oh,
flags and
wow.
tails,
Oh, good.
cushions and things.
Yeah.
I'd always enjoyed dressmaking. It was sort of the era of Laura Ashley with the big puff
God,
sleeves.
you don't look that old.
Well,
No, do you have to tell us? Don't worry. No, because Laura Ashley's my era. You're not 39 yet.
I'll be 39 in 18 months.
Like proper 39.
Oh, no, 40. No, I'll be.
Hang on, what are you trying to say? You're older.
I'm 48 and a half.
You are not. Right, there's a reaction upstairs. You must have been able to hear that then.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll be 50.
What have you had done then?
Well, Neve's put some stuff on me before I've come out.
No, but just a bit of Meg. You look brilliant. Can I just say you look... well, when they said your daughter was coming in, I was thinking, oh, we're going to have this toddler coming in. And then grown woman walked in. I was like, she can't be... That's wrong. Somebody's told me the wrong thing.
No, thank you.
You do look brilliant.
Yeah, it's...
Maybe we all need to do science or need to buy Great Whorley. We don't live in Great Whorley anymore.
No, my parents still live in Great Whorley, so we do go
Whorley,
over to visit, but no, we're in Stone. So 3 pins should do it.
Yes.
And then...
Are you moving on?
Yeah,
3
sorry.
pins will do that. No, it's fine.
And I would pop it under the machine with the motif facing, because you can follow if, sort of a bit wibbly-wobbly with your 1/4 inch.
Yes.
You've got the line to be able to follow if... decked out the house with cushions, curtains and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then sort of stopped for a while. And it was when we had Neve, thought it would be nice to, sort of start some traditions. And it was a Christmas quilt that never happened.
Oh, right.
That started it for me. I bought this book and picked a quilt that, with hindsight, was too complicated for a first-time quilt. And in those days, there weren't many shops that sold quilting fabric. So the closest one to us was one in Birmingham. And so we parcelled Neve into the back of the car. She was a really bad traveller when she was young. So there's a... Oh, do I have to leave that down to cut? Sorry. So parcels are up in the back of the car. I sat in the back of the car with her, and it was probably, I don't know, 40-mile trip. And usually you'd got sort of 10, 15 miles before she was sick.
Oh no!
But we got a change of clothes.
You were prepared for this, yeah.
Towels, nappies, bottles. So yes, as we thought, she threw up.
How many miles do you have to travel to work now then? She's sick this morning on the way in.
she sleeps.
Oh, she sleeps in the car now.
The other day, she says, "You know, Mum, I've seen more of the M6 than I've ever seen before." She stayed awake on one trip home. No, I'm not sure, to be honest. It takes us about an hour and 10 minutes.
I'm just thinking, yeah.
So off we went to this quilt shop in Birmingham, and she did end up being sick. So we stripped her off.
She's loving this. She's sitting in the office now, cringing underneath the television.
Stripped her off. Stripped the car seat off because it had gone all into the straps and everywhere.
Sorry for eating your 11s.
But we had got a change of clothes. We got a towel, so we put a towel in the car seat. She was in a fresh set of clothes, and off we went again. And she was sick again.
Oh no!
But now at this point, we've got no clothes, no change of clothes. We've used the only towel that we've bought.
Oh no!
So we did as best we could, and we were over halfway there, so we weren't turning back.
Not turning back, no, and you had to get to that quilt shop.
So my husband took his t-shirt off, put it on Neve. She's in now a bare car seat in a huge t-shirt, and my husband's driving bare-chested to Birmingham.
What happened when you got to the quilt shop?
They had to stay in the car. They couldn't get out. Because
so they drove all that way and then had to stay in the car?
I don't think he probably wanted to go in the quilt shop. It was just the transport, yeah. No, he's done binding for me for customers' quilts when I've been in a bit of a rush. So yes, went in the quilt shop, bought a really nice lady actually helped me. I hadn't got a clue what I was looking for, and instead of going for sort of a large pattern, a smaller pattern, and some sort of ditzy blender filler type, I just bought the exact same fabric in blue, in green, in cream and red. Got back home and I'd got a really old sewing machine that you couldn't get a 1/4-inch foot for, and the pattern was quite dated, and rather than strip piecing as you would now, and sort of with your half square and quarter square triangle, starting with a square and sort of sewing and chopping it down, it's had you cut the fabric into triangles from the get-go. So as soon as I put it under the machine, it disappeared into the...
of course, because they were little and on the back. No.
So it just went in the scrap bag, and when the kids were a little bit older, we just made Christmas projects with them. So
I've got another neighbour, Debbie. Oh, no, hang on, she's not in... Hi, John and Amanda. Loving Christmas in July, getting inspired. I was born in Stone and my mum and dad are still there. It's a small world. And that's from Debbie, who's in Devon. I don't know what your next word was going to be, though, Debbie. It's cut you off. But anyway, so do you know her mum and dad? Debbie's mum and dad?
No.
Oh, how big's Stone?
It's a reasonable size. It's growing, but it is a really pretty little... It's a canal town. We have farmers markets once a month.
So is it like Eccleshaw, then?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. It's lovely. It's where Jane's shop used to be, Eccleshaw.
Perhaps a little bit busier than Eccleshaw, but similar.
Nothing happens in Eccleshaw apart from the pub. They're all busy in the pub, in the cafe, aren't they?
So I've pressed to set the stitches first.
Right.
And because we're using a cream sashing, I'm going to press all my seams away from the sashing so we don't get that nasty shadowing effect.
Okay, perfect. So how did you meet Jane, then?
It was through quilting. We signed up, Chris and Barbara.
Are they the identical twins? Yes.
They're a bit like... Don't
laugh.
They used to do, I believe they still, it's not Jane's shop anymore, but they used to run classes. But it was before Jane got the shop.
Chris Francis.
Chris Francis.
Oh, yes. I know Chris
Barbara
Francis.
Cheney.
Yeah. It's not the twins,
So we'd signed up for the same course and met that way. And then saw each other at Staff's Patchwork and Quilters.
Yeah, and Jane's reputation goes ahead, doesn't it? No, a naughty one, I mean, not a quilting one. Right.
So, that was how I met Jane. So we're going to do the same now with the bottom.
Right.
Again, if you want to be precise, fold yourself a little crease mark.
Penny's got a request. It hasn't come through yet. Here it is. Morning, lovelies. Really loving the shows. Could I ask if Amanda has an Insta that we can follow? Beautiful quilting.
As of last night, yes, I do.
So how many followers you got? 3?
Probably. I don't know. Need.
What is it then?
Little Quilt House. There's a Facebook page and Instagram.
Little Quilt House.
Little Quilt House, all one.
And is it based in stone?
It is, yes. So I've got a shed in the back garden.
Lovely.
With a 10
Is that where you do your
foot...
teaching?
No, well, people that come for workshops would be in there, but I've not really done any teaching.
Oh, have you not?
No.
So I hope it's got a good lock on it and everything.
Yes.
They're not cheap,
Oh, so,
are they,
but
long
it's
arm?
be a strong burglar that can take a
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I thought that.
10-foot machine.
Yeah, I thought that.
It's all sort of, well, it's supposed to be self-contained, but I do tend to spread onto the dining table as well.
Okay. So you do your not little business, sounds very patronising, little quilt house. If somebody makes a quilt, they can bring it to you, and you will long arm quilt it for.
Yeah.
And have you got a computerised one?
I have, yes. It's really good, actually. It's addictive. So they can either bring the top to me and I'll quilt it, or they can take a workshop and then I'll stay with them and help them.
And they'll do it on your machine. Oh, that's even nicer, isn't it? Because some people, I mean, they are a considered purchase, aren't they? And not everyone has the space, or I couldn't afford to buy.
And some people want to do, it's their quilt, they need to do every stage.
Yeah, I understand that, because imagine if you piece something and then you just sent it off to a quilter to do, and for some reason you didn't like what came back, you know what I mean? Because I know that Tula Pink always uses the same lady to long arm quilt all of her quilts. Penny's followed you now.
Oh,
You've got another follower.
Penny.
And Hannah, have you followed her? Oh, she hasn't got a phone upstairs. Well, no, because Hannah gets lots of followers. Whenever we say hers is McBabe8, she gets lots of followers as well. Oh, is that all? Well, we've got 7 minutes left.
Sorry.
No, I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. Don't know about you, but I'm enjoying it.
Right.
Oh, you're not doing that one now, then. You got one already made.
So, similar procedure, just slightly different sizes, obviously, for the larger motif.
Oh, blimey, how many have you made? You're in the shed quite late last night.
It was about 11 o'clock
last night
when and still wasn't fully
That means you
prepped.
make Miss Love Island.
I don't watch that. My son does. He records it and watches it.
I bet he does.
So, yeah.
Which one's his favourite, do you know?
Oh, I don't even know who's on it.
No. Anyway.
Yeah, so they're all sashed.
Yes. So you've done this with all 11 and one big one for you. Is that 12? No, that's...
it's pretty much...
It's not got a number on it, that one?
No, that's the centre one. That's, I think, just...
That's a partridge in a pear tree.
Partridge,
again. So there's 12. Oh, so there are 12 plus the central
plus the
one.
Central,
Okay.
So they're sashed. So we can break the quilt down now into 3 portions. Number 1, 2, 3 and 4 is constructed in exactly the same way as 9, 10, 11 and 12.
Yes.
And then 5, 6, 7 and 8 on the centre.
Oh, okay.
We'll do those separately.
Okay, perfect.
So, if I...
Oh, Alison. Now, Alison, it's a business. So Alison's saying she's just followed you on Facebook. Followed you on Facebook. Would you be able to quilt my tops if I sent them to you by the mail, in the mail? Love you two together, just a delight. Well, that's, first of all, Alison. But obviously, you'd have to discuss it.
Yeah.
Maybe discuss it on Facebook. Send her a message on Facebook. But you do it.
I do mail order,
That is your business.
Yeah.
You do long arm quilting for people's quilts. So, yes, you will do. But obviously, it's a service, so you'll charge for it. That's all.
Yeah. OK, so...
Yeah, message each other on Facebook.
What we're going to do now, then, this is to blocks 9, 10 and 11. We're going to pop a 6-strip unit onto the right-hand side as you're looking.
9, 10 and 11.
We'll have a 6-inch
and 12 in real life. Yeah.
Now, what I did, I started red, cream, black, trees, red coloured scroll on the 2 outer portions, and then just reversed it or put a different one completely.
Oh, so how many squares is it then?
It's just 6 down.
So you can choose any 6
you can
want,
choose,
really.
yeah. So I'm not sure how many I've cut at this length. That's perhaps a little bit too long. So you could have.
Michelle's messaging. Morning, John. What a lovely woman she is. That's who she's talking about. Craft room she shed lady like me. Yeah, Shelley's boyfriend, Clint, built her a whole sheet shed in her garden and everything, yeah?
So,
She'll see it. Are you going to Festival Quilts?
I think so, yeah. I'm not sure what day, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Alice says, I'll chat to you on Facebook. Sorry for being naughty. No, it's not naughty, Alison, at all. It's not naughty at all, because if it brings her business, she can afford to feed Neve next month. Because we don't pay her enough. Right.
Okay, so
you've done that one and that one the same.
The same, and then just reverse it, just so that it doesn't look...
Yeah.
Just a bit of variation. So, yeah, 1/4 inch seam, just sew it...
Yes.
To the right-hand side.
So you make the whole of the bottom strip and the whole top strip exactly the same as that.
Yeah.
And then the middle strip.
The middle strip. So what we're going to do with the middle strip?
Which have you lost?
I put them there.
Have you got all of them?
I've sort of. I wanted to be further ahead than I've managed to get, but I think we can.
No,
sort of. Okay. So 5, 6.
Right, so you've got 5 and
6, 7 and 8.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah. So you need the big one in the middle
and the big one in the middle, yeah.
I think, I agree, Paul's just saying how lovely that all the designs are. They're all beautiful, aren't they?
They are. Yeah, it's just something nice to, every Christmas.
You haven't got the big one with the thing on it, have you?
I haven't, no.
No,
that's
that
fine,
would
that's have...
Fine. But how would you... So, because this is sashed, right? So you've got your 5 squares. Which order would you sew this all together?
Okay, if I can just reach those, if we use those again. Is there another one caught in there? Thank you. So I would sew a... hang on, which way around?
I can tell you how many there are.
It's just 4, I think, isn't it?
1, 2, 3, 4. You've just got 4 across the bottom, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I just need to unpick. That's the only thing with sort of making the 6 strip or even the 12 strip pieces. At some point, you're going to have to, a little bit like the trip around the world, just chop it up.
But do they get stitched to another bit later? Do you have to save that bit?
No,
well,
there are enough pieces to be able to, sort of make a cushion with the checkerboard effect round.
So that piece you're cutting off there, put it to one side, and then there'll be enough of those in the end to do some sort of cushion with it.
Yeah. Okay.
So you join those 2 together and you join these 2 together.
Yeah. So pop the sash to the bottom of 5 and the same to the bottom of 6. Join 7
together.
Yeah. And then
this will have obviously a sashing of cream.
That will have a sashing of cream, and then you want. This is sort of where you start to have to.
Let's just do that.
Piece them into longer.
Have you got a long cream? Yes, you have.
Yes. Here we are. I think this one's... Oh, no, I didn't cut the cream.
Because this one's slightly wider, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't cut the cream ones.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'm just going to do it like that. So that one goes down there like that.
Yeah.
And then that one will go...
I think there is another...
There's another...
Yeah. So again, just to get the middle motif up to the same size to fit in with the 2 side ones, we need to do a double row of the pieced squares around.
So then what you have to make sure is you haven't got 2 the same together.
Yeah, so this is where you could perhaps reverse your colour.
Yeah.
I think just as long as there isn't...
you see, now I wouldn't want that. But what you could do is take the end one off and then just do them like that. And if you need to, you can just sew another one on that end, couldn't you? Just it's good laying them out like this, because then you make sure... You see, I wouldn't want those 2 together, so you'd have to play with all your strips so you can get them all together.
You can cut them out as 2 3/4 inch squares, but...
Oh, no, but that takes too long. I agree with doing it like this, but the old one, it's not going to take...
No.
You just unpick and just add another one on the end and everything like that.
And I tend to do them symmetrically as well, so... sort of... they're running in the side.
I've got a problem.
Yeah. But it doesn't look too bad, sort of from a distance.
No,
it doesn't look...
exactly. Yeah. So then you've got your 3... rows going across.
So you've made row A, B, the centre, and C.
And join those together.
So
then you've got your middle section up to here.
Yes.
Then how do you do this bit here?
Right, so...
How long have I got, Paul? Oh, only a minute. Okay, that's fine. Hi, John and Amanda. Amanda, could I quilt the blocks individually, then sew them together?
Yes, but you've not got any leeway to be able to...
So if you make, so quilt that.
Cut your cream sash. Mind you, you probably wouldn't have enough fabric.
No.
If you cut your cream sash in another 1/4 inch wider, you've got enough then for a seam, but it would be bulky.
And then also, when you put it together, these wouldn't be quilted. That would be quilted. It's not been designed like a quilt as you go, has
not
it?
really, no.
Okay.
No.
So, and no. Simple. Right, okay, let's just talk through the end then.
The
red sashing going down there,
yeah.
That's the same thing again. You've just got long strips of
long
the red.
strips, yeah, which...
You better make another one this afternoon.
Yeah. So we've cut 8 strips at 1 5/8.
Yeah.
And we're going to join them with a diagonal seam, and I've got quite a... Well, I think it's a...
Oh, come on then.
A nifty tip. So, can I just borrow the
iron,
iron,
you
please?
can.
Sorry.
Bring it back. Yes, we'll just do this then.
Yeah.
Let's just talk. So you do this sashing.
Yeah.
Then you put your border of your big squares on. Then you quilt it. You make your sandwich, quilt it, and then you bind it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll just show this, and then we'll finish there.
And so this
is... I'll stand here.
So you can do this with your 2.5 inch binding as well. It makes it really quick.
Right.
So just width the fabric strips. Take one of your width of fabric strip and fold it at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter about the selvage.
Yeah.
Run along that edge.
Glue?
With your glue stick.
Glue stick, available on the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then avoiding sort of the pinholes from that selvage.
Yeah.
Pop it down.
Yeah.
And then a dry iron. You don't want a steam iron. Sorry.
That one's not very trusting, that one.
We'll just do it quickly. And that now is secure, stuck enough to be able to take it across to the sewing machine. So if we now open
it... yes, you are going to stitch it. I thought you weren't going to stitch it.
No, I'm going to stitch it, but that you can...
But that way, yes, because the amount of times you sew diagonally and then one slightly higher than the other, whereas this one, you know it's going to...
So, yeah.
Don't worry about sewing it because you're out of time.
All right, sorry.
Well done. Don't say sorry. That was absolutely brilliant.
All right.
So you now need to do a show every week, like that. Or a month, I mean. Month. They'll make you now. Then they can do it. Thank you ever so much. Wasn't she brilliant for her first show? Not nervous at all.